The night sky above Israel lit up with streaks of fire, nearly 200 ballistic missiles launched by Iran. This act of aggression sent shockwaves through the region, a stark reminder of the deep animosity between Iran and Israel, locked in a shadow war for years, fought through proxies. This latest escalation felt more dangerous, a direct attack on Israeli soil. Israel vowed to respond forcefully. Netanyahu declared Iran had crossed a red line. The international community condemned the missile launches. The conflict between Israel and Iran is not a recent development. It is a complex and multifaceted saga with roots that stretch back centuries. To understand the current tensions, one must delve into the tangled web of history, religion, and geopolitics that has shaped the relationship between these two nations. The Israel-Iran standoff is not simply a border dispute or a clash of ideologies. It is a clash of civilizations, a struggle for dominance in a region of immense strategic and religious significance. At the heart of the conflict lies a fundamental disagreement over the legitimacy of Israel's existence. Iran, a predominantly Shia Muslim nation, does not recognize the State of Israel, viewing it as an illegitimate entity occupying Muslim land. Israel, for its part, views Iran as an existential threat. The Jewish state, surrounded by hostile neighbors, is acutely aware of its vulnerability. The involvement of global powers has transformed the Israel-Iran conflict into a proxy war, a microcosm of the larger geopolitical struggle between the West and its rivals. The power of diplomacy. Why global cooperation is essential. In the face of escalating tensions and the looming threat of a wider conflict, the international community must prioritize diplomacy and cooperation. The situation in the Middle East is complex and fraught with danger. But history teaches us that even the most intractable conflicts can be resolved through dialogue and a commitment to finding common ground. Global cooperation is essential for several reasons. First, it is crucial to have a united front against those who seek to disrupt peace and stability through violence and aggression. Second, global cooperation is essential for addressing the underlying issues that fuel conflict. In the case of the Middle East, this means tackling issues such as poverty, inequality, and political oppression. Third, global cooperation is essential for building trust and understanding between different cultures and religions. By working together, the international community can help to create the conditions for a more peaceful and prosperous future for the region. Prophecy and free will, shaping the future in uncertain times. The intersection of prophecy and free will is a theological and philosophical crossroads that has intrigued thinkers for centuries. Do prophecies dictate a predetermined course of events, or do humans possess the agency to alter their destiny? In the context of the escalating tensions in the Middle East, this question takes on a profound urgency. Some interpret prophecies as immutable decrees, fixed points in time that will unfold regardless of human action. However, others argue that prophecies are not deterministic, but rather conditional warnings, glimpses into potential futures that may or may not come to pass depending on the choices humans make. The concept of free will introduces an element of hope into the equation. It suggests that the future is not fixed, that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, humans have the capacity to change course, to choose peace over conflict, dialogue over violence, and understanding over mistrust. This perspective empowers individuals and nations to become active participants in shaping their destiny, rather than passive observers of a preordained script. The importance of dialogue bridging divides and seeking common ground. In the midst of escalating tensions and the ever-present threat of violence, it is easy to succumb to despair, to believe that dialogue is futile and that conflict is inevitable. However, history teaches us that even the most deeply entrenched adversaries can find common ground through communication, empathy, and a willingness to understand the other's perspective. Dialogue is not a sign of weakness, but rather a testament to courage, a recognition that lasting peace can only be achieved through mutual understanding and respect. Dialogue, in its truest sense, is not about one party imposing its will on the other or seeking to win an argument. It is about creating a safe space for honest and respectful communication, where all parties feel heard and understood. Dialogue can take many forms. It can occur at the highest levels of government, with diplomats and world leaders working tirelessly to find common ground and diffuse tensions. The role of faith, prayer, and hope in times of conflict. Faith can serve as a beacon of hope, a source of strength and resilience in the darkest of times. Prayer is an active engagement with the divine, seeking guidance and comfort. Faith can promote peace, reconciliation, and understanding. Hope is the belief that a better future is possible. Standing with Israel, a call to solidarity and support. The State of Israel, a beacon of democracy and innovation in a volatile region, faces an array of existential threats. From hostile neighbors who refuse to recognize its right to exist to terrorist organizations committed to its destruction, Israel has been forced to defend itself against relentless aggression since its inception. In the face of these challenges, it is imperative for people of conscience around the world to stand in solidarity with Israel, to affirm its right to exist in peace and security, and to condemn those who seek its annihilation. Supporting Israel does not mean turning a blind eye to the complexities of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict or condoning every action taken by the Israeli government. It does mean recognizing that Israel, like any nation, has a right to defend its citizens from harm and to determine its own destiny. Standing with Israel also means combating anti-Semitism in all its forms. Combating anti-Semitism requires vigilance, education, and a willingness to speak out against bigotry and hatred whenever and wherever it arises. Beyond the headlines, understanding the human cost of conflict. The headlines often paint a stark and impersonal picture of conflict, focusing on casualty figures, military strategies, and geopolitical maneuvering. However, it is essential to remember that behind the statistics lie human stories, individual lives shattered by violence, families torn apart by loss, and communities struggling to rebuild in the aftermath of destruction. Understanding the human cost of conflict is crucial for fostering empathy, promoting peace, and ensuring that the voices of those most affected by violence are heard and their stories told. Consider the story of a Palestinian family living in Gaza, their lives upended by the constant threat of bombardment and the economic hardship caused by the ongoing blockade. Or the experience of an Israeli family living near the border, their nights punctuated by the sound of rocket sirens and the fear that their home could be the next target. The human cost of conflict extends far beyond the immediate casualties of war. Remembering the human faces behind the headlines is essential for promoting peace and reconciliation. A plea for peace. Working towards a more hopeful future. The path to peace in the Middle East, a region scarred by decades of conflict and mistrust, will be long and arduous. It will require courage, compassion, and a willingness to look beyond the entrenched narratives of the past. It will demand leadership from those in positions of power, and the active engagement of ordinary citizens from all walks of life. Peace is not merely the absence of war, it is the presence of justice, equality, and mutual respect. It is the recognition that all people, regardless of their ethnicity, religion, or nationality, deserve to live in dignity and security. Working towards peace requires a multifaceted approach. The pursuit of peace is not a naive dream, it is a moral imperative and a strategic necessity.